Hey everybody. I've noticed that my mom is getting into trying to get in shape, and she said that a lot of the other grandmas are trying to get in shape. Anyway, I thought I'd make a video to see if you guys are interested in maybe starting a Facebook page, and you guys can ask questions and stuff, because me and Kristen have been through a lot, and I think that we've learned a lot from what I consider to be some of the best experts in the fitness industry. And I want to give like a quick overview of some of the things that we've been doing. And if you guys are interested, then we can start that Facebook page, and and you guys can just kind of have an open dialogue with us, and we'll help you all along the way. So what me and Kristen have been doing is called flexible dieting. We've been through a couple things before that. We did paleo for a while, and we've done a little bit of what they call intermittent fasting, but flexible dieting is by far superior to everything that we've done. We're really comfortable. It's a good way to monitor yourself and not restrict yourself too much. So basically what you're trying to do is you set a goal for your carb intake, your protein intake, and your fat intake, and you also monitor your fiber. And what you're trying to achieve is a certain calorie intake, but you're mixing it up between those macros so that you can get all the nutrients that you need and really take care of your body. So the way that you decide what macros you're going to choose is basically based on where you're at right now. If you're going to try to lose weight, then obviously you're going to try to move down a little bit. But one big mistake that a lot of people make when dieting is they go into real heavy restriction from what most people consider a normal diet, right? So what you're doing when you do that is you're getting rid of a bunch of capacity in your diet that you didn't have to get rid of. Your body will respond the same to losing 300 calories as it would to losing 1,000. I think that's a common big mistake that a lot of people make, is they'll jump from their normal, 2,500 calorie diet down to 1,500 calories, and really you don't have to do that. Like, you're going to lose weight, but you're also shocking your body, and it really responds to that. Remember that your body wants to stay where it's at. It doesn't want to change. So whenever you go into heavy restriction, yeah, you'll lose weight because your body can't keep up and it's going to respond to that. But then afterwards, it's going to want to bounce back. The goal should be to lose the weight in a slow fashion so that whenever you're done losing all that weight, your body doesn't really remember being heavy and having that excess weight, so it doesn't want to spring back to that. A lot of the research is actually kind of grueling. They've proven that the number of times that somebody attempts to diet and does that heavy restriction in their life is proportional to how heavy they are at the end of it. So a big example that I always use is Oprah, because everybody's watched Oprah go through all these heavy restrictions in her diet, and every time she did that, not only did she gain all that weight back, but she gained even more weight because she had more fat cells. Whenever you restrict yourself real heavy, your body will actually produce fat cells. And then when those fat cells swell back, you're heavier than you were before because you have more fat cells. What happens most of the time is that they inflate and deflate based on small changes in your diet. So the heavy changes are something that we actually want to avoid. So really what you're trying to do, and what me and Kristen try to do, is move towards your goals while eating as much as possible and working out as little as possible. And that sounds kind of strange, but really you have this capacity. Let's take, for instance, my dad. He doesn't work out. He probably eats a lot of calories. So he doesn't want to jump down to a 1,500 calorie diet or even a 2,000 calorie diet right away and start working out like crazy. He would benefit a lot more from slowly progressing towards that. So he would cut, 200-300 calories out of his diet, and he would probably start losing weight. And then he can start incorporating working out. And the thing is he still has a lot of capacity to lose and move towards his goals later on. Whereas if he's stuck at 1,500 calories and working out a bunch and he stops losing weight, he's really trapped. He doesn't have a lot of capacity to cut from to move towards his goal. I think another big mistake that a lot of people make is excluding things from their diet. We don't really like that because eventually you're going to want those things, especially if it's something that you really like chocolate, for instance. You can still have things like that, have that chocolate, but what you want to do is hold yourself accountable for that chocolate. So count it in your macros, and maybe you'll cut back a little bit on your carbs that day, and maybe even fats, because you had that piece of chocolate. But whenever you cut things out of your diet completely, they become this forbidden fruit, if you will, and it's something that eventually it's going to catch up with you, and you're going to start craving things and having an appetite that you really could have avoided if you just had a little bit of something. Another thing that I'd like to add to that is that what we're trying to do is find a lifestyle that you can stick with for the rest of your life. We want you to be comfortable and enjoy food and not look at it as this thing that you got to avoid and restrict yourself. There are some other options besides flexible dieting. Obviously, me and Kristen really prefer that. But if you want to do something like, my mom was telling me that Teresa is fasting, and you can do that. That's one way to do your diet, but I think it's important to basically restrict yourself to an 8-hour eating window and get all of the macronutrients that you need in that window, and then you can fast yourself. Fasting for an extended period of time, like 3 days, is pretty excessive, and you could get into a state where your body's trying to pack away all those calories when you do eat, and what it really leads to is your body storing fat. Another one was paleo. I think you guys did paleo for a little bit, and that's another one that excludes a lot of foods, and it is a great diet. It's probably a good way to go if you can commit to that for the rest of your life, but me and Kristen couldn't quite pull that off, so I think that's what pushed us away from it. And plus, we started craving all those things that weren't included in the paleo diet. So I guess that covers the overview of kind of our ideas behind dieting. So moving on to fitness, I think one of the biggest things that is missing is resistance training. You guys are obviously doing walking and stuff like that, and that's great. It's just going to help basically burn off some of those calories so that you can enjoy some extra food. But I think your goal is to change your body composition. Whenever you get some more muscle on you, it will burn more calories basically. So we don't have to jump into something right away like heavy weight training, but I think whenever I say resistance training, what I'm talking about is like maybe you'll walk up and down a flight of stairs a few times, or I don't know, I mean do some ab training, or get some light dumbbells and you can use those, or resistance bands. I mean, we can start off really slow and do some of those things, but that's something that I think is very, very important to incorporate. And you need to get rid of this idea that women shouldn't be lifting. That's nonsense. It's very, very important to build up that muscle so that you have more caloric capacity and you're burning more calories just throughout your normal day. Another thing about resistance training is that afterwards, your body continues to burn calories. When you walk, you're burning calories while you're walking, but once you stop burning calories. When you lift weights and your body has to recover from that, you continue burning calories afterwards. Another tip that I like is after you do resistance training, you basically have glycogen levels that are depleted in your muscles. And if you want to enjoy your sweet things that you like let's say you like chocolate, you would do that directly after a resistance training session. So anyway, I don't want to overload you with a bunch of information right now, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I see that you guys are wanting to make changes and work towards fitness, like a fitness lifestyle. Right. And I really think that I can help you guys out. I just don't want to see you suffer and do things like not eat for 3 days and stuff, and you're not getting anywhere. Because I think doing some of this, like a lot of the diet plans, you can get stuck and you're restricting yourself like crazy and you're not making progress and you're probably wondering why. I think I can help you guys get around those things whenever you run into them. So anyway, if you guys want to start a group on Facebook like Fitness Grandmas or something like that, maybe we can start a little dialogue and I can give you guys tips and pointers whenever you want.